It's an attempt at bipartisan compromise as a migrant surge continues. A Senate aide says the draft version being floated includes keeping Title 42 in place for at least a year. That's the pandemic-era program turning away many asylum seekers, which is scheduled to end soon. It also includes a path to citizenship for immigrants brought here illegally as children, the so-called dreamers, along with a potential speedier path to deportation for immigrants who don't qualify for asylum.
Immigration system, our laws, have not been reformed for more than 40 years.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas at the Center for Strategic and International Studies today, saying the problem for administrations of either party has been a broken system. Twitter owner Elon Musk is promising more to come after allowing the release of internal decision-making from before the 2020 election about suppressing information on the Hunter Biden laptop story. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre won't say whether those 2020 decisions were appropriate, but she calls the release full of old news and a distraction.
And at the same time, Twitter is facing very real and very serious questions about the rising volume of anger, hate, and anti-Semitism on their platform, and how they're letting it happen.
Republicans are planning investigations of Hunter Biden's business dealings and any possible connections to the president after they take control of the House in January. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper visiting one of the two substations that was shot over the weekend, knocking out power to thousands.
What happened here Saturday night was a criminal attack.
He says federal, state, and local law enforcement are actively working to bring those responsible to justice. The White House says it's providing any assistance needed. America is listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Smith & Wesson is committed to empowering Americans no matter what. With inflation hitting everywhere, we've decided to make a change. Now, you can buy a Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, our most popular concealed carry firearm, at an all-new low price, $100 off MSRP. We're absorbing the costs and passing along the savings to you so you don't have to compromise on personal security. Visit smithandwesson.com to find a Shield Plus near you. Smith & Wesson. Always expect the best.
Holiday season scams are in full swing, prompting a variety of tips on how to avoid them.
If you receive a text that mentions a package delivery, the link sent could be wrong. Don't click it. Go to the original confirmation you received about shipping to find your correct information. Never give your money to anyone who approaches you about a charity. Do your research and double-check the name of the organization. If you're getting anyone a gift card and buying it in person, be sure to check that the packaging hasn't been tampered with. Scammers may have already used the gift card, so you're essentially buying a useless piece of plastic.
Fox's CJ Papa, the Better Business Bureau, also warning people away from online versions of Secret Santa. Suspended lawyer Michael Avenatti just sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for stealing millions of dollars from clients and for tax fraud. He was previously sentenced to 4 years in prison for stealing book deal proceeds from client Stormy Daniels. The man who shot Lady Gaga's dog walker and stole the singer's French bulldogs last year, sentenced to 21 years in prison, pleading no contest to attempted murder. The dust-up over ungettable concert tickets becomes a legal fight.
Bad blood between Swifties and Ticketmaster continues as a group of Taylor Swift's fans take the live entertainment giant to court over issues they had while trying to buy tickets for her Eras tour. The pre-sale for verified fans who registered turned into a nightmare as fans ended up in a virtual queue waiting for up to 8 hours to buy tickets. And when they finally got in, ticket prices were in the thousands of dollars range. More than 24 Swift fans filed a complaint in LA County Superior Court against Ticketmaster and parent company Live Nation, asserting claims including breach of contract, intentional misrepresentation, fraud, antitrust violations, and unfair competition. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Wall Street opens the week with a loss. The Dow dropped 482 points. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign-Urbana Vicinity. A little bit of everything for everyone here as we move on through this week in December, but everything very much manageable. Nothing out of control on temperatures or precipitation as well. Just a myriad of features moving on through. Speaking of which, we'll get into that later on this afternoon. A few sprinkles of rain. South wind and skies become overcast. Highs to about 45. A couple of sprinkles this evening will bottom out at 33 as winds shift around into the north and northeast for the day tomorrow. A little bit of rain back in for the afternoon. Highs up to 44. East-northeast wind up close to 50 and a mild, partly sunny Wednesday. Later in the week, some rain ahead. Thursday with a high up to 46 degrees. A little rain and wet snow in spots Friday. High temperature there at 43, and it's largely lower 40s for afternoon temperatures for the weekend. Again, can't rule out a little bit of rain and wet snow mixed in early in the day on Saturday, and perhaps a snow shower come Sunday. Overnight temperatures down right around the freezing mark. For TVG Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny. Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage. I'm kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over.
I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Schmack Dogs.
Thunderstruck! Yeah, Thunderstruck!
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is cold out, but boy, when you start thinking about where Illinois football is heading for the bowl game, it warms you up inside. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. Piper is in New York, so he will join us at 5:05 today to get an idea of what happened Friday night in the Maryland game. Also look ahead a little bit to the Texas game tomorrow night for Illinois. But right now it is time for the Jay Lehman Hour. And, Jay, I'm starting to think Derek Piper is doing everything he can to duck you.
Here's the deal.
Is it the Central Centennial thing? I mean, is that...
I don't know if it's that. Centennial, I had a good football team this year, right?
Yeah.
But I would say this, which is shocking, in the baby blue. But I would say this. No, I'm a Champaign football fan through and through. I would say this. When football got good, he started to ghost.
He did.
When football got good, he started to ghost us.
Yeah, I think he's really mad.
And we know that the Hoop Squad lost to Maryland. He couldn't take it.
No. We're eating into his valuable basketball time.
Yeah, between him and Lauren Tate, I don't know which one skips football season sooner. It kept inching up. The Beckman years, it was borderline September 20th. It was like, all right, basketball season. Let's check it out. Now we're actually still guys, it's December 6th. We're talking about a football story.
Somebody the other day mentioned Bill Cubitt, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he was our coach for like a year.
Yeah, the interim coach, right? Because our previous coach, this is how, we want to go back in history a little bit here. Remember, Beckman got fired for player abuse.
Yes.
Okay, got fired for player abuse.
Yep.
They found out it was legit.
Right.
They fired Mike Thomas. Mm-hmm. We were like orphaned AD. There was no. It was like we were like orphans. We had no AD. There was no parent. An orphan athletic department, right? We signed Bill Cubitt to some like $900,000 contract, right? 2 years or something. And then we get Lovie Smith. So when Josh says, I thank Lovie Smith for coming here under really tough circumstances, those are the circumstances we were under.
There's no doubt. And you know me, I've been the biggest critic of Lovie of anybody, but he did come under really hard circumstances, and he did leave around some talent that now this coaching staff has taken and really taken to another level.
The most Florida players per roster on the Big Ten West are at Illinois.
Is it really?
And, I know he took some criticism on that because they did not recruit in-state well.
No,
that's pretty well documented.
Did not do that.
And I just feel like as a Midwest guy, sometimes guys from Florida they're from Florida. They got to be good, right? They did a tremendous job on some of these guys. Obviously, the Brown brothers, who are from London, Ontario, down to the Tampa area, and Devin Witherspoon's out of Pensacola area. I mean, no stars. I mean, for as much as these rivals guys in 247 think they get it, right? 24/7 think they get it. They don't sometimes.
They miss on occasion.
And Devin Witherspoon, 0 stars, now could be a first-round pick.
Incredible.
And I'm happy those guys get to go down to Tampa.
Playing
right?
at home.
And play at home, which is exciting.
Exactly right. So, Jay, I've got my flight booked and I've got my hotels booked. Are you?
I'm still working on it. I'm planning making a trip down with my son. Most likely.
Should.
So I'm going to go from super coast. We got my in-laws in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm going to be there for Christmas. I'm going to ski one day up in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Nice.
I'm going to drive down, get a flight. It's all in my plan. I just got to sign off with the wife, which is
she's finding that out right now.
Which will happen, right?
Right.
But I just think, it's been 33 years. The 1990 Citrus Bowl or Hall of Fame Bowl, I can't remember.
It was Hall of Fame, I think.
Hall of Fame.
John McAvoy.
Which is this bowl game, by
yes,
the way.
right. It was the Hall of Fame and then the
Outback.
Yep.
Then they didn't sell enough Bloomin' Onions. And then ReliaQuest.
Some defense or some cybersecurity.
Something happened, right?
Right.
People got hacked. FTX blew up, whatever, and ReliaQuest took over, right? Cybersecurity. We haven't been to Florida for a bowl game in 33. Wait, I shouldn't say that. For a good bowl game.
Yes.
New Year's Day bowl game
yes.
for 33 years. It's been since Whitman played for the MicronPC.com,
Wow.
which is now a defunct business, I think.
Right.
Probably got bought out by Microsoft or something. But I would just say, we don't know when it's going to happen again.
Exactly.
So my son is 10. So, hey, I could wait till he's 43.
Right.
Or we could go this year, right?
You'd be too old at that point,
Come on,
right? I mean, you'd be my age then.
I have so many people coming to say, man, I had to go to the Rose Bowl when you went. Even though you guys got beat, I had to go. And I've had so many people tell me also, hey, I thought we were going to be good for years to come under Zook. So I was like, we're going to go again. And it's one of my biggest regrets that I did not go. And so I would just say to all the Illinois fans who obviously have been showing up at the home games at Illinois, the last couple home games,
no doubt,
showed up. We obviously showed up in Vegas. Hey, let's support this football team. They have come farther than any other program, I feel, in the last 2 years.
Exactly. See you in Tampa.
See you in Tampa.
That's exactly.
I know the CU. It's cute. The CU gets. I mean, it's got some mileage on it.
It does.
It's like my Dodge Aries 1987 station wagon that I had. It has some serious mileage on it. We get some stuff out of it, right? You guys don't even know what Dodge Aries is, but if you saw it, it's the ugliest pea yellow car you've ever seen in your life. Okay.
But it was yours.
It was mine.
And that's what mattered the most, right?
Yeah. And the mistake was putting Layman 5 on the end of the license plate because people know where you're going.
Yeah.
That's just I don't do those
Probably don't do
anymore.
those personalized plates. That was the cool thing for a while. I still have a personalized plate, but nobody can figure mine out because it's AZCRDS 6, and it's like
that looks like a non-personalized.
What is as Kurds? I'm like, well, it's the Arizona Cardinals.
Right. There you go.
That's my idiot stuff. All right, what does it mean to be able to play? Look, there would have been nothing wrong with Music City. I know a lot of people around here, a lot of my friends were kind of pulling for Music City because Nashville obviously only 5-6 hours away. But I feel like the prestige of playing
100%.
not only in the new year, which would be a January 2nd bowl game, but also down in Florida. What does it mean to just the program in general? And after only 2 seasons, Brett Bielema getting this squad there. What do you think that means?
Well, especially kids that grew up in your area. It was #1 California Rose Bowl,
there's
right?
no doubt.
No doubt, right? And
No
it's a
doubt.
little different with the playoff now.
Yep.
But and then it was Florida, right? I mean, it was
I would even almost to this day rather still go to the Rose Bowl than the college football playoff. I know that's asinine.
There's a ton of fans that are like that.
Right?
Right?
I'd almost rather just say, well, just put me in the Rose Bowl.
I mean,
I'd rather have fun.
it's such a weird thing is they start that game at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. There it's like 2 o'clock. It's sunny. There's mountains. There's snow on the ground here.
Beautiful.
It's like a different world.
Yes.
Right? When you're a kid, you're like, is that even in the United States? Because all I've seen is white cornfields for the last 2 weeks, right? I mean, it's just a different thing. So I'm with you, right? But as far as taking this step as a program, these are the bowl games that Wisconsin and Iowa and Michigan State have routinely been in, right?
Yep.
Year after year after year. And now we're there, right? We're there playing an SEC opponent who Brett mentioned, hey, we haven't beat one in, 3 years.
That's right.
3 tries, rather.
That's right.
And so it's like, okay, I think as far as where it came from when they talked to Brett on the sideline at Penn State 2 years ago with Rod Smith being the interim coach.
Oh, yeah.
To where we're at now.
Wow.
It's a huge leap. And Brett doesn't feel like, hey, we're going to stop anytime soon.
No.
It's building. Obviously, there was 4 games away from, being a really special season, a couple games away from being a special season. But you can't sit on that.
Yeah, and he says that today or yesterday when he met with the media. He talked a lot about how they were this close to a special season, but yet this is still a pretty special season.
Sure.
And he even said, and for everybody out there, if you see Coach B out Christmas shopping, he said, just all I want you to do is don't come up and ask me about everything in the season. He goes, I just want you to say, see you in Tampa.
That's it.
He goes, I want to know that you're going to Tampa.
That does 2 things. Number 1, it says you're going. But number 2, it does stop the frivolous questions of like, hey, coach, he just wants to go with his family and, go to the grocery store.
I've got to shop too for Christmas.
Yes.
That's basically what he means. Yeah. One thing you just said, he did mention the fact that Illinois is 0-3.
0-3 against SEC opponents in bowl games, I think.
And Brett said he could use that as some motivation.
The one I'm going to hang my hat on is, if we're 0-3 in bowl games against the SEC, I promise you that's going to be my motto. I think the thing, though, is that, like, this is the last time I rode over here with Tariq and Pouch, right? Like, there's just these little moments in time. I talk about it all year, and I bring the seniors in, and I tell them literally in that first team meeting that this is the first of last. So this fall, when we got together for the first time, I brought those seniors in. I said, this is the last first meeting of the year you'll ever have together, right? I told them about a month ago, I said, during our bye week, right, you're going to close out. This is going to be the last regular season practice. It's going to be the last regular season game. And it sounds silly, right? We all know we get to play the game, but for me, right, and especially the last couple of weeks I've had to have former players that I played with, right, that I realize I haven't seen in 20 years, right, that I haven't maybe heard from in 15 years, right? Like there's these unforgiving moments where there's such value in it. We're going to go to Tampa. I promise you on that Monday night, we're going to have a little shindig with them out of the gate, kind of give them the schedule, and we'll do as many fun things as we can, but we're going to focus, especially as that game gets closer, to winning that football game. It's a celebration, it's a moment, it's a bowl game. My parents would tell you to this day that their favorite memories of all the games were their bowl games, right? Going and getting to be around their parent or the other family's parents, and there's a lot of special memories that will be built in the next month.
There you go. Long-winded, basically, to say he's excited to get down there, and a lot of alumni excited about it, a lot of former players excited about this thing. And Jay, you mentioned the fact that a lot of Florida players on this squad anyway, which Lovie Smith did do a great job down there, and I know we've continued to recruit the Florida area, as everybody does and should. I'll ask you, he mentioned in there, hey, we're going to have some fun down here, but we also have a football game to focus. So they're going to go down the 26th, and the game's not till the 2nd. When you played and you were at the Rose Bowl, what was that like, the lead up? Did it feel like vacation when you first got there, or did you feel like you were on still a game trip?
Well, what's so interesting is, other than like my roommates, I had never been on a non-business trip with my teammates that I spent years with, right? I mean, 100 guys, you always go in a game, it's like, listen, nobody's going out. You don't go out of the hotel. You stay here. This is a business trip, right? And so we had never done, I'd spent 4 years with guys and never going on an extended trip with them. My roommates I did and whatnot, but not like the whole team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you go there and you're like, wow, this is so weird. And you're in California. I think the first day we went to Disneyland, we met USC there. We did a little shindig with Pete Carroll, and the captains met, like the USC captains, met the Illinois captains, and then we all went on rides for the whole day, totally free, which was like amazing.
That would be cool.
It's like, okay, this is great.
Did you have the park to yourself?
No, but we could cut lines. We had like fast passes. What is it? Fast pass?
Fast pass, yep.
Fast passes. We did that. We also did another day. We did Universal Studios, but I think is out there. Is that out there, or is that in Florida?
Maybe I think that's in Florida, but who knows?
There's another one in there.
Okay.
There's another place in there that you can go. I don't know if it's part of Disneyland or what, but it was another
I
theme
think you
park.
are right, though.
There might be 2 of them. Okay, I don't know if that one's a Disneyland or World or what. So there we go. And then we went to Lowry's, which is like home of the prime rib.
Yes.
We set the record for the most prime rib ever eaten Both teams or just Illinois?
Illinois did.
Yeah, baby.
And so we had some beef eaters, right? So there you go. We went to a comedy club, I had never been to a comedy club. It was hilarious.
Those are funny.
It's so different. Back when Comedy Central was a thing, we don't even know what Comedy Central is anymore. You'd watch those on TV and be like, you go into there.
Oh, they're hilarious.
It was hilarious, right? It was fun watching Zook's face too at a comedy club. It was just hilarious.
Was Zook having a little wine?
Well, I think all the coaches, they're a little bit guarded.
Yeah.
But I do think they let a little bit go. But then you have practices. Now, what's hard about the Rose Bowl is dude, it takes 45 minutes to get anywhere.
Oh.
We were playing at the Home Depot Center, which we were practicing at the Home Depot Center, and had to bring our weights in. So we had to lift. They bring the weight room and everything, because it's hey, we got to be ready for the game. So they transferred the weight room over.
Holy cow.
We weren't able to get the full weight room thing. I've heard Wisconsin back in the day under Alvarez, maybe under Bielema, they brought everything down.
Did they really? I've never heard that.
Because you got to stay jacked, right? And they don't have a weight room for you.
No.
And then I remember just watching hours of film in the hotel room. They had a room set up for me. I could watch it. Didn't necessarily help me that much in the game, obviously. But, hey, I was I got one chance to play in the Rose Bowl, right? So those are kind of the routines that we had, some of the fun stuff. I remember getting some gifts that were, a hat, PlayStation. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah. I bet.
I mean, that was the NIL back then. That was it.
How soon did it change from the Rose Bowl to we're playing USC in a game I want to win?
I think I always knew that. There were some guys that were just man, let's go out to the strip, Rodeo Drive or whatever. But I think you get about 4 days away, right? Which would be about a Tuesday game week practice, right? Where you're okay, we gotta hit some people, we gotta tackle. I find it very difficult for defensive players in bowl games to be sharp tackling. Because you don't live tackle that much when you're preparing or practicing.
Okay,
right?
that
Every
makes
week
sense.
during the season, I get to play and live tackle, and I rep it, and I rep it, and I rep it, and I rep it. Man, you go 40 days without live tackling somebody, it's tricky.
That's a great point.
And so a lot of times you'll see more missed tackles in a bowl game. The offenses will have bigger plays in a bowl game. Which is probably by design, right? But
never thought of that.
So I look for. So what I did is I had these scout guys that listen, dude. I know I'm supposed to bring you to the ground. I'm going to blow you up this practice, not because I don't like you, but I'm going to bring you to the ground because I got to be ready for the game.
Exactly.
So I'm a big believer, dude. Again, if we ask the 3-point shooter, Jaden Epps or whoever, or Shannon, Shannon to go out there and shoot threes. And in a game, but never practice it, they're not going to hit any, right?
That's a good point.
So how are you going to ask a linebacker whose job is to go tackle if he can't live tackle?
I've never thought of that. How about in the actual game? How long did it take for you to say, all right, we're done with the Rose Bowl, now we're playing a game? When kickoff happened, were you still?
Oh, I was long before.
Oh, you okay?
Long before that.
So
for me, I was.
It wore off.
For me, for sure, because I'm dude, I think this is my last game ever.
That's true.
And I'm I know how rare it is. In my lifetime, we had never been, I was born in 85, never been to the Rose Bowl.
No.
And so not only I think when you get to a certain level on a team, you're a good football player, you're a captain, and then your team is having a special year, I carry the weight of man, people are depending on me to play well.
Yeah.
Right? So I could jack off the whole time, right? Jack around.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm going to hey, I'm going to lock in and give myself the very best chance to play.
I still remember the 83 Rose Bowl, the 84, whatever that was, 83 season, 84. Yeah. I still remember, and to your point about you've got to go out and, show the fans hey, this is an important game, not only for you individually, but also to do something. But what I'm trying to say is, to this day, I still remember everything involved around that. I remember we had, at our house in Patterson Springs, we had a big party in our basement, had a lot of friends over that were all wearing Illinois gear, and then the next thing you know, Illinois gets blown out, and then the party went on. It wasn't that frustrating for a lot of people, but for me, being, 13 years old, I can remember just how much that really hit me oh my gosh, we got blown out by Rick Neuheisel. I didn't know him at the time. By UCLA in the bowl. And in my mind, sitting there thinking, I wonder if we could ever beat a team like UCLA. It almost made them bigger than life. Well, and so I get it where you're coming from.
Well, and Illinois had a chance in 83, actually, an outside chance at the national championship if they blew out UCLA.
Yes.
People don't remember that. They had won 10 in a row. I always say the USC game, it's 21-10 in that third quarter. Mm-hmm. Rashard broke off a big run, and then we're going into score. We fumbled going into that end zone.
That's right.
Would have been 21-17, and then they throw the pass that bounces that Vontae tracked him down on, and that was a huge turn, right? I don't think we would have won that game. I think it could have been more respectable than what it was. But man, that squad was loaded. They were paying all those guys. I'm still, they got all those wins vacated, so I guess we won.
Yeah,
that one. Right?
I say you won.
Right?
Rose Bowl champion Jay Lehman.
Hey, I got a comment for you. I'm wearing some Rose Bowl gear. I see on the text line somebody says, "Hey, is that Toronto Blue Jay Lehman on my screen?"
Blue Jay Lehman.
Everybody called me the Jaybird, and I told Lon before the show.
I had to ask too.
This is just a conversation starter, okay? They called me the Jaybird. Really thick neck, really skinny legs, right? Because the birds have skinny legs, right? But I digress. But I love it. I want to talk about one thing, about not Blue Jays, but Iroquois Federal, guys.
Yes, baby.
They're our sponsors, our title sponsor. Would you please talk to Mark, talk to Bob Guido, Ryan Lowry, Brenda Crane. You need a loan for investment or personal residence, Iroquois Federal. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Guys, have you seen the ad of me being a cop in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World? Guess what? I'm filming part 2 for the New Year's Day sale coming up.
You didn't hurt that guy, did you? When you tackled him?
I mean, he's no longer works for the company.
Okay. Well, that's all I needed to hear.
I'm doing a New Year's ad, and I'm filming that on Friday. So we're getting it all in, guys. All right.
I love it.
And also, let's not forget about the Joint Chiropractic. Kyle Lewis at IPG Insurance. Email Kyle at IPGINS.com. And then Long Branch Steakhouse. We're actually having our radio Christmas party at the Long Branch on Sunday. That's usually not a date they're open. That's why we're able we'll have it. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, except not this week. They open up next week.
That's right. They're kind of doing some deep cleaning.
Some breaks for their staff.
Exactly, which is important. Last question before we catch a break. How important is it to win the game?
Well, I would have told you the Rose Bowl was super important. To me, it was super important. I think it's important for the team, right?
Okay. The difference between 8 and 9 wins is huge, isn't it?
I think it's big. Well, 9 and 10 is really big, right?
Right.
But what I would say is this: I do think it has to be a mix of reward and because these guys work incredibly hard, right? As student athletes, does have to be a reward. But man, it's important for me. I didn't look at the Rose Bowl, and maybe I should have, as a reward.
Yeah.
I saw it as this is a chance to play in the Rose Bowl. That is my reward. It's not like I'm on vacation.
Amen.
What am I going to do? Tell my kids, I screwed around the whole week and, was hungover at the game. No.
That's Lon's job.
When you want to be a fan, be a fan. If you want to be a player, be a player.
Correct.
Right? So it's like, all right, this is what we do.
Yep.
So I wanted to lock in. So I think they're gonna have the right mindset. Brett's been in this thing. He's like talking about the guy he knows that was the Outback Bowl. Now we were texting back and forth. He knows these people. He's been there. I think he's going to be fine.
See you in Tampa.
See you in Tampa.
Hashtag see you in Tampa. That is some good stuff. All right, when we come back, I want to play a couple of clips from Brett Bielema talking about the quarterback position.
Sure.
And I want to ask you, Jay, I know we talked about it during the season, but have we totally given Tommy DeVito enough credit for what he helped this team become?
No, absolutely not.
So we will. I want to ask you about that. Also, roster management, and that's something that Brett Bielema talked about from what he took over to what he has now and kind of how he's building depth. I want him to explain it and then have you kind of bring it down to layman's terms, as we like to say.
Man, that's got as much mileage as see you in Tampa.
I love it,
See you in Tampa in layman's terms. We're busting it all out today on the drive.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get you, again, your great sponsors, and you'll hear from Coach B as well. It is The Drive.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, That's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
With the holiday season upon us, we at Gale Frericks Trucking would like to take time out to express our appreciation and heartfelt thanks to our drivers and support staff. We take pride in making family and safety the top priorities at GFT. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt, inviting all Class A CDL holders in Central Indiana and Illinois to join our family so you can provide for and spend more time with your family. We offer paid holidays and vacations, home time every weekend and holiday, the industry's top pay package, safety and operations bonuses, rider program, insurance, $4,000 sign-on bonus, and more. Call 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com to join the GFT family and get pay and quality home time you can count on. 765-793-7131.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window, and we're proud to be your choice for the 2021 People's Choice Awards for the third year in a row. We want to say thank you by offering buy one, get one 50% off on all windows. And you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com. And remember, at Kramer Siding and Window, you have a friend in the business.
What kind of bedside manner would you like your doctor to have? At Roof Doctors, they make sure you feel good about what they can do for you. They make sure they answer all of your questions and feel comfortable about whatever procedure your roof needs. Roof Doctors has helped customers for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy have helped make lives better in our community with their generosity and kindness. Roof Doctors is the company you can trust if you need anything done on your roof. Roof Doctors in Urbana. They make you their number one priority.
Sure, we offer push-button mortgage applications, but when it comes to getting the money for the house of your dreams, we offer something far more advanced, and we call her Brenda. A real person who knows you better than any app and works hard to make things simple, cutting through red tape, meeting you outside the office, and in between life's busy moments. For a great rate and a great deal, call Brenda at Iroquois Federal Champaign and let her help you get home. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 472172.
Oh, Matt Snyder. Yeah, I was over at St. Teresa, Decatur, Friday night, talking to Matt Snyder, who I believe now is the AD at St. Teresa.
Well, I thought it was the AD at Monticello or at one point, but now at St. Teresa. He played for Decatur Eisenhower in high school.
Yes.
Was a good quarterback, then played for Milliken, and then there was one stop for the Champaign Central Maroons. He was my offensive coordinator as a junior and senior.
That's awesome.
Threw the dimes to the tight end for me. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good football coach. Good football coach. Really good.
I wish that I would have known that while I was talking to Matt on Friday night. But it was good to see him. Saw Tom Kane, who owns a restaurant over in Decatur for years. I just was, I worked over, as you know, I worked over in Decatur for 6 years. So it was great to kind of get back.
W-A-N-D ties run deep, bro.
The Wando,
the
baby.
Dirty D. Did you live in Decatur while you worked there?
We didn't. Lived in Sullivan.
Sullivan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Gene was from Sullivan, and we ended up we got a place there. We lived in like a little apartment, and then we found a house out by the golf course. It was a little ranch that was 5 years old. I'm like, well, let's do that.
You were living it up.
I can handle walking. I literally walked out my back door to the golf course. I'm like, let's go.
Bam.
So, and I've never lived in a spot that was that nice of a convenient walk to a golf course since. So
Love it. The Dirty D, Decatur. Is that Danville or Decatur or Danville? They're both great places.
Yeah, they are. I tell you what, I enjoyed working in Decatur. I know a lot of people have given Decatur some grief and such, but I enjoyed 6 years working in Decatur. Great people. Loved covering Milliken.
Well, I got Britt Miller there, number one. Decatur, I always loved playing MacArthur. Mo Dampier, great player out of there.
Yes.
Big Mo. He went to Oklahoma.
Stud.
Big Mo, one of the best high school players. He's really good at basketball too. But
he was
phenomenal defensive tackle. Danville's had some great NFL guys lately.
Yes,
too.
they have.
Trent Sherfield's still playing. So there's athletes right along that I-74, I-72 corridors
I love
right
it,
there.
man. I love it. And, of course, the offensive lineman right now for Illinois from Danville as well.
Oh, yeah, Julian Pearl. Yeah, and Caleb Griffin.
And
the
Caleb
kicker,
Griffin. That's
right?
exactly right.
And we get all the local guys in here. Let's go.
I want to read you on the U of I Atlanta Lake text line, 712. I don't know where that's from, 712.
It ain't Decatur. We know that.
Right. Can Jay speak to the difference between the Illini and the fan base who need the big bowl win versus teams with many players that sit out or would rather turn down bowl invites? If you didn't understand that, I'll explain that a little bit better in a second, but I want to play a clip from Brett Bielema today that was asked about the players and are they opting out of the bowl game.
I've already kind of had some conversations, immediately when the Northwestern game got over. I had planned to talk with certain guys just based on where they were, who had kind of had those conversations about NFL opportunities. So we definitely have had those conversations. What I did is I basically at that time and even a week ago sat down with a number of guys and said, hey, let's see who the bowl game is, right, and who we're playing, and then let's have a gathering of information, see where it goes. So, we were sitting there obviously waiting to see what happened in our game, but, if obviously Indiana had won or if we had just taken care of our business better in those 4 games, we lost 4 games by 1 score, right? We could get frustrated, but if we would have handled our business better in those 4 games, it wouldn't even been a discussion, right? And that's the approach that you got to have. I asked all of those guys, I said, if we had won the Big Ten West, would you play in the Big Ten championship game? And they all, of course, said yes. I said, well, let's just stay the course. You were going to play one more game. Let's see where that one more game is at. I'm sure we'll have more conversation along that, but it's good to have good players that have those options.
Trapped him with the okie doke question there, didn't
he? He totally did. Listen, I grew up, you did too, where everybody just played in the bowl games.
Sure.
You didn't even think about it.
Sure.
Now, obviously, it is a business decision, and I totally understand it. A guy like Devin Witherspoon is somebody that's probably going to be drafted in the first 2 rounds, maybe the first round. So really, what does it do for him to go out and play, except he's at home, right? Chase Brown is a guy that's 67 yards away from being an all-time leading rusher at Illinois for a single season, or is that all-time? I can't remember. I apologize.
Single season. Yeah, Robert Holcomb's still up there.
That's right. Yeah, Robert, man.
Even in those bad offenses, he has over 4,300 yards. He was all we had for a little bit.
Give me the ball 40 times. He was a stud. I loved covering him. But, Chase obviously has something to play for as well. I could see how he'd get 70 and get out.
Chase went to school right half an hour from Tampa.
That's right, and that. So would you anticipate them all playing? And I would assume you wouldn't have any issue with somebody if they said, hey, I'm sitting this one out.
Yeah, here's my thing is I don't think a lot of these guys are from – obviously they're from – this is the first bowl game for a lot of them.
Right.
I mean, some have been to the Red Box, maybe Palczewski or something. But that
was so long ago.
But these guys, this is a big bowl game for Illinois, right? So if I'm Ohio State and let's say I'm Penn State and I'm not in the playoff or whatever, and I've been to the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, maybe it's a little different, right?
Okay.
I think it's important to these guys the turnaround of this program. And I think they want to put an exclamation point on it. I think Devin Witherspoon, I don't think he can prove anything more, but he does play against a Mike Leach air raid attack. Right. We're like, okay, maybe I'll get some more balls thrown my way, right?
Yeah. I guess that could go the other way.
And I think Chase means so much to this football team. I think he feels that.
I agree.
I think here's a guy who never blinked an eye getting 30, 40 carries a game and went out there with a bum ankle the last 2 games, let's just say, right? And he played.
Yeah.
Right? When it was all on the line.
Yep.
So I think he's going to play. The question I have is really, I don't know how much more Johnny Newton can show, but I don't know if Johnny Newton's coming back or not.
Right.
So what I love about Brett said, not only did he, kind of the old switcheroo on him with that question, he sat down with them right away. Because the moment you're in the regular season, there are calls everywhere. Do this, do that. Hey, we've got a place for you right now to go train. We'll take you down to Florida and pay for you to be trained for 3 or 4 months. So I like that he's on top of it. The fact that he had to talk to multiple people about it, though, tells you he believes there's a chance there's guys not going to play or leaving early.
That makes sense.
Because he wouldn't have these conversations if he didn't.
Well,
right?
and I think that was the thing he kind of brought out in that press conference is I'm more worried about guys, and not worried in a bad way. I mean, he's in a great way. He wants these kids to go play in the NFL. It's great for Illinois, great for the program, really good for the kids. And, of course, Brett Bielema can then say, hey, I've coached these many guys that have played in the NFL. But I think he said essentially, that's not the right word, but essentially I'm more worried about those guys than I am who's going to play in the game.
Sure.
The quarterback spot. I want to just play a little bit about this. Jeremy Warner, our buddy, asked this question today.
Brett, Tommy DeVito, is he out of eligibility, or are you guys going to apply for a waiver? What's the future?
I don't really ever comment on current player status, right? But I think it's been shown in the past. We got Jake Hansen next year. We got Marquez and Pouch. If any player on our roster that we feel can help us win a championship can gain a bonus year, I would bet a lot of money that this head coach and our coaching staff and our athletic department will do it.
There you go. So he was then asked, he kind of then went on about Tommy DeVito and what he meant to this team this year, and he felt like he may have been, for what the circumstances were, he may have been the most valuable quarterback in the Big Ten.
Sure.
Now, I don't know. I don't want you to have to compare him to J.J. McCarthy and all these guys, but you and I talked in the first hour. I brought it up in the first hour. How many years? And it's not, I mean, it is, but it isn't a slight on the past quarterbacks for a long time, back to Nathan Shieldhouse and Juice and that crew. But, I mean, I don't think we ever realize, or maybe we do and forget, how important a quarterback is to winning a football game. I mean, it's amazing how we talk about it in the NFL all the time, and I never hear anybody in college, around the college circles, like around tailgates, say, well, if we had a better quarterback, we'd be – I know people think about it. We're not dumb. But it's just amazing having a guy like Tommy DeVito, and now all of a sudden you're knocking on 9
here's
wins.
The thing. We were so far away in every aspect.
Yes.
It wasn't like a quarterback who got, thrown into the ground, 30 times a game was going to change anything for us, right? But the quarterback, first of all, the quarterback is just a unique position in all of sports, right? I mean, you touch the ball, you impact the game
everywhere,
probably more than any other position
Maybe
in sports.
a pitcher, obviously.
Maybe a pitcher, right? I mean, you really impact everything, right? And I think I had Tommy midway through the season when we were about 5-1, 6-1. I had him as the number one quarterback in the Big Ten West.
Wow.
Even over Aiden O'Connell.
Okay.
Now, that's not saying much. So it was Tanner Morgan, Spencer Petras, Casey Washington.
Yeah, they all weren't playing very well.
Graham Mertz, who entered the transfer portal, right? So he's number one. I had him behind C.J. Stroud on Taulia Tagovailoa at Maryland because I think Taulia can play. I don't think Sean Clifford was that good. I don't think I thought Peyton Thorne was decent at Michigan State.
Right.
I thought he was a good player. I thought J.J. McCarthy early in the year wasn't great. I think he's gotten better. He's athletic, but he largely throws to his tight end and running backs and dinks and dunks and has a running game for like 250 yards a game. Like that's what it is. So I think look at Tommy DeVito. I could see why people get a first team vote on all Big Ten for the passing completion. He just didn't have a guy that could get a lot of yak.
That's fair.
Down the field. Isaiah Williams, maybe some yak in short spaces, yards after catch, but no big explosive plays.
Okay.
Right? We don't have that guy. And if he had those stats, if we had a guy like that, his stats would be a lot better.
We've got some explosive companies and businesses that make this
Yes,
happen.
we do.
The Jay Lehman Hour.
Yeah, the most explosive, Iroquois Federal, right?
Boom.
I mean, shoot, boom. You want a loan? Hey, rising interest rate environment, you need a loan that has great service and great competitive rates. That's Iroquois Federal. Would you look them up? Iroquois Federal. It's iroquoisfed.com. But talk to Mark McHale, talk to Bob Guido, Ryan Lowry, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Locations in Decatur. Yes, Decatur, Champaign, Bloomington, and Springfield, home of the 10-year free protection plan. 10 years
I
free
love
protection.
You know what's so unique? I've said this before. That Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a local place, but yet they've branched out to other local places. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this isn't a big box store.
No.
Although they have that kind of reach.
Listen, I went to the big box. I saw the big box store on what their prices were compared to like Dick Van Dyke. Very competitive. Maybe like $30-$40 different.
Yeah.
But with Dick Van Dyke, I get a 10-year free protection plan.
And you walk in and you know who you're talking to.
You know who you're talking. It's not even close.
No,
right?
it's not even close.
And I get the delivery. I get all of that. I get the installation. I mean, like, very competitive in the service. So love it. Like I said, I'm shooting an ad on Friday. Be ready for it.
Oh, boy.
I did have an ad in the Super Bowl in the local slot last year. It could be this year again. So let's Go. All right. We watched the Super Bowl party say, that's my boy Jay Laban. All right. IPG, Kyle Lewis, IPG Insurance. For all your home, auto, habitational, whatever you need, they got your insurance covered. The Joint Chiropractic, located just south of Aspen Tap House on South Neal. And, of course, Long Branch Steakhouse.
U of I Atlanta Lake text line. Listening in New York City at 217 said, why was Reggie Love so much more effective in the Northwestern game compared to the preceding game?
I will say, I was a little shocked by that.
Yeah?
I
just don't think Northwestern's very good against Reggie.
I was going to say, I think that he runs with like low pad level? Sure.
Yeah.
But he ran with low pad level against other teams and didn't do much. I think two things. You might be saying that because, hey, he ran for a lot of yards and Chase didn't. I don't think Chase was healthy that game.
No.
He was banged up, right? So he wasn't healthy that game. And I just think Northwestern's not that good.
Okay.
But I do think Reggie's very serviceable back next year. I do. I think with him, McCray,
I agree.
Jordan Anderson, Aiden Lawfrey, the Gibson City
Bringing
Ghost.
in Caden Fagan from
Caden Fagan.
Arthur.
I don't even know if he'll play tailback. I mean, he might be a tailback. He's a big tight end. He could be a linebacker. He could be a lot of things.
He's a big kid.
Big dude.
Big dude. I was going to ask you about this bowl game, but I want to play one soundbite from Brett Bielema and then have you comment on it. Here's Brett.
Roster management is like one of the greatest things as a head coach you got to go through. Roster management is the acquisition of new players and the maintenance of the ones you have. And our roster right now, our 85-man scholarship roster, with the players we're going to leave, when I got here, there was just a lot of transition, right? The guys that didn't fit our system, maybe weren't where we needed it to be, and our roster keeps getting deeper and thicker. One of the key factors this year was, we're still thin at certain positions, so we're trying to up the ante there a little bit. But it's fun because I keep telling our coaches all the things you've been working for, you can see them manifest, right? But we're 4 games short of our dream, right? Like we want to be in the college football playoffs, and we played Michigan to the bitter end, right? And realize that moment hopefully now will catalyst to us to show, hey, this is where you're capable of. But on the same account, right, to lose to an Indiana team that's not bowl eligible, to lose to a Michigan State team that's not bowl eligible, right, and then to lose a one-score game to our Big Ten West representative in the championship game, which obviously, it shows where we're at, right? But we can't let those opportunities go past us.
That is Brett Bielema talking about the roster management, adding depth. Obviously, I think there's still areas that we know the offensive line. He hit the bullseye twice with JUCOs,
right.
with Chrysler and Adams, and he's trying to do it again.
Sure.
We even just went down this list of running backs that we feel like is a deep room, but you could almost see them going out in the portal. In the quarterback position that, the Leary brother he's available now.
Devin, right?
Devin. Yeah, Graham Mertz from Wisconsin. I don't know about him. There's
Brendan Armstrong from
right. From Virginia.
Right.
There's a Gabbert kid from Miami of Ohio. His brother was Blaine that went in first round. I mean, there are quarterbacks out there. Obviously, the kid from Texas, I don't know that Illinois could get in on him. But, in other words, there's a lot of spots that Illinois still needs to probably use the portal to fill. But yet, you almost get the sense that this staff is maybe a year away from not necessarily needing the portal as much as we do now.
I think we're getting closer. I mean, let's talk about the quarterback's the number one need, right?
Big time.
I mean, he was very critical about Tommy. It sounds to me like they're going to fight to try to get Tommy another year, because the way that works for people is if you played less than 4 games in 2020, what they're arguing is that's an injury redshirt year.
Okay.
So you should be able to medically redshirt that year. That's how Palcho and Marquez got another year.
Interesting.
And not just counted as a free COVID year. So they were and then they got the free COVID year on top of that later.
My goodness.
Right? So that's what's going on, because he
Okay.
only played 4 games in 2020. Okay, so it could be counted as a medical redshirt. So they're working to try to figure that out. But when you talk about where do we need depth, I still think until our young recruited players from Brett are starting, we need the transfer portal.
Okay.
That's
fair.
That's the baseline,
That's fair.
right? I mean, until we see these guys that they've recruited actually play, really we've only got one recruiting cycle though.
Right.
Because everybody was signed. Remember, because Brett was signed like December 20th, a day before signing day.
That's unbelievable.
Because of the COVID season that was backed up.
Yep. That's
just,
unbelievable.
So he's done this with one recruiting cycle. So we're going to be in the transfer portal quite a bit.
Okay.
I think for the next year or two.
And I think this staff, I know Jeremy Warner wrote a great article on that on Illini Inquirer about just how every day, every week, they're evaluating the guys that are coming open on the portal. And, of course, December 5th, I think maybe today is the day that it just explodes. So, but they'll watch. I think at the time, Brett Bielema, I don't know, I'm making this up. Let's say there were 400 in the portal. He said, we've watched film on 398. I mean, there were only like 2 kids they hadn't watched film on yet, and I assume they were late arrivals, like maybe middle of the night portal. So that's the amazing thing about it. All right, I don't want this hour to slip away without asking you about the college football playoff championship that's set up now with 2 Big Ten teams. Number one, I hope you didn't spend 3 hours of your life trying to wait for the college football
I no
playoff
longer
show.
watch that show.
Good Lord.
I'm just like, it's just bad TV.
It's bad. You can only say so much about 4 teams.
And you're just milking it over and over. I just enjoyed my Sunday and checked my ESPN app every hour to see what the update was.
Amen. That's exactly right. I mean, the entire Bears-Packers game was played while we waited for Illinois to be announced. Now, I think a little of that was Notre Dame, and they were fighting to figure out where for them to go. But Ohio State makes it in. We knew Michigan was in, so Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, Ohio State 4. Are you proud of them for keeping TCU in it? And not only that, but keeping them at 3?
I think TCU had to be in it because there's only 4 teams with like 1 loss.
Right.
Well, there's 3 teams with 1. No, there's 2 teams with 1 loss and 2 teams with no losses.
Yes, Georgia and
because everybody else started losing.
That's right.
I mean, we saw Bama has 2 losses. When USC lost on Friday, that really was like, okay, Ohio State's going to get in because of that.
That saved us for Tampa.
That saved us for Tampa and getting into Tampa, right? Now, do I think I think Ohio State will get boat raced by Georgia? Yes. I don't think Ohio State's that good this year.
Okay.
I really don't. Do I think that? Michigan beat them by what? 20?
Yeah, 22. I think
we lost to Michigan by 2.
Yeah,
we played Michigan better than anybody, right?
We did.
Which Brett talks about. Hey, we're closer than we think, right?
They're a lot closer than I thought.
I mean, if Illinois wins every game they're supposed to win against Indiana, Georgia, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue. Would they be in the playoff?
Can I say this? Yeah, no. To answer your question, there's a really legitimate shot that Illinois would at least be close.
Sure.
Do you know how in the past we've talked about how Illinois, like there'd be a season, and not yours, not when you guys did yours, but we would say there'd be a season that seemed fluky.
Right.
There were a couple of wins that seemed fluky. You know what it was this year? There were losses that seemed fluky.
That's a great
point.
That's a great, but they're like, what just happened? That was not normal for this, right?
Right. I mean, all of our victories were just absolute go out and win.
I honestly think probably since about Shieldhouse, every victory since Shieldhouse has been, it felt fluky.
It did.
It didn't feel sustainable.
Big win. Yes.
It didn't feel sustainable, right?
Right.
And I think when we started really beating people up front, kind of got Brett's identity as that, we were like shocked and there was disappointment. Like, man, we sucked against Purdue. Why? Or Michigan State or
Agree.
Indiana. The expectations weren't quite up yet. But I agree. It feels like it was a fluke, a loss. The losses were flukes. But when you talk about the playoff, I think Georgia is a cut above every one of these teams. I know Georgia had like 10 or 11 guys on their defense last year get drafted to the NFL, but their offense is really good. They had 2 really good tight ends, great offensive line, of course, a great defense. I think it's going to come down to Michigan and Georgia in the title. I don't think TCU is going to be physical enough for Michigan. I think Ohio State's going to get boat raced by Georgia. Okay, I think Georgia's going to win that game by 30.
Wow.
And I think Michigan's going to get beat by Georgia by 15.
Okay.
So Georgia's that much better than you turn on the film, that much better. Again, my own test. Let's give them blank jerseys.
Yep.
Who's better? Georgia by far. I'm not just saying because they're Georgia. I watched the games. They're better. And so do I think that the Big Ten still has a ways to get to that upper echelon of the SEC? Yes. I think if you look at I think teams, 6 through 2 are pretty even, and I think we'll see that. But I think like the top 1 or 2 teams in the SEC have just been above Ohio State and Michigan of late.
Do we know anything about Mississippi State? How about next week?
Mike Leach.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you. Actually, I wrote it down. You can see this on my paycheck.
Mike Leach.
The
Pirate.
$25,000 paycheck. those come every 2 weeks.
Lots of policies sold there, guys.
Well, this is my radio one.
Oh,
yeah. What the heck? No, I'm kidding.
Still waiting on mine.
I did right. I wrote down Mike Leach. Brett Bielema said a funny thing. He said to the crew, the media crew, he goes, "You guys are buckle in." He goes, "You're going to get Mike Leach here for a while." And he said he and I will probably visit tonight, which would have been last night. You have any run-ins with Mike Leach?
I've never had a run-in.
No,
because he was the OC, I believe, for Oklahoma early on, like early 2000s under Bobby Stoops, and then he went to Texas Tech. Was there? We never played Texas Tech.
Okay.
I've never done a game with him. Never, I've played some guys that have played for him. Played with some guys that played for him.
I just thought of something. Did you hear Deion Sanders at Colorado?
I did not. This is about the transfer portal comment?
Yes.
He said, guys, get in the transfer portal?
He said, you guys basically need to get in the transfer portal because we're here to work. And, I think there was a little bit of he's challenging them,
But see, that's Deion's way of saying what a lot of football coaches do.
Yes.
Now, when Ron Zook came here, he never called it this, but we called it this as teammates. Who's getting zooked this week? Which was, he looked at our roster, roster management. I mean, it was a dumpster fire, right? I mean, so, and I was on it. I was part of the dumpster fire. I thought I was going to get zooked.
He's like, lame.
Sometimes I wonder how I made it through the first spring.
Thank God you did.
Right? I'm like, who's getting zooked? And I think Zook basically, I don't know what was said, but I think it was more like, hey, listen, you're never going to play here.
Right.
You can stay.
Right.
But you're never going to play here, and you're going to be on the scout team. You make your decision. And he got a lot of scholarships back.
Did he really?
Because guys left.
Guys were like, we're out of here.
The transfer portal,
okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
That
is interesting.
So now Prime is, out there doing it in front of everybody, right? And so it's like, okay. But, I mean, the guy's got a mission. I heard he flipped a five-star already. His son's coming over to play quarterback. But here's the deal. You need more than just a couple of players to win in Power 5.
Right, exactly.
It just doesn't happen like that.
We'll see what happens.
How many MAC coaches have we seen go undefeated then suck in the Big Ten?
Right.
A lot. I mean, Tim Beckman won a MAC championship, what? Or got second or something.
Real quick, Gary on the U of I Atlanta Lake text line. Status of Shaman Cooper, big recruit, not much playing time. I'll be honest with you, Gary. We don't see practices and such, and we don't get to know those questions.
I saw him play a little bit of what they call garbage time in Northwestern game. He's playing outside backer. I think he's going to have a real hard time beating out Seth Coleman, Gabe Akis, Zeke Holmes, even Odaluga if he moves over there.
Is he just not big enough?
I don't. It's hard to judge a guy on this, but he didn't look like it was that active when he was in there.
Fair enough. And then a 217. Speaking of Nathan Schillhouse, he has been named the new offensive coordinator at Iowa State because Alex Golish, left for a job. Now I got a cough.
So the guy at Iowa State actually got fired. And
I'm sorry. Yeah, because Golish is at Tennessee.
Golish was the Tennessee.
Yeah,
OC,
I'm sorry.
Which he blew up, right? Well, he wasn't. So here's what happened.
Yes, my fault.
Tim Beckman had Jason Campbell.
Yeah.
Is it Jason Campbell? No, I'm saying wrong. What's the Campbell? Matt Campbell. Jason Campbell was the quarterback for Auburn when I played.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So, guys, archives of names for us announcers. Here's why Tim Beckman was good. Tim Beckman had Matt Campbell. And I think he had Alex Golish on that staff.
He
right?
did.
So then Matt Campbell gets a great coach at Iowa State, or has been good, had down year. Schillhouse gets elevated. Well, a year or two ago, under Heupel, Josh Heupel at Tennessee brought in Golish to be his OC. Now he's going to be the USF OC.
That's awesome.
UCF is a great launching pad job.
That's great.
Because there's talent there. There's a lot of talent right there, and you can get players. So good for him. Golish has got a job. We've had some good assistants come through.
We have.
Right?
We really have. And I know we've got him now. I mean, we know we've got him now.
Yeah, we do. Walters, Lunny.
This music means you got to tell me about your sponsors one more time.
Federal for all your loans, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, The Joint Chiropractic, IPG Insurance, Kyle Lewis, and Long Branch Steakhouse.
That's the man, Jay Lehman, the Jay Lehman Hour. It's always fun. We'll do it again next week. We'll get more nitty-gritty on Mississippi State. Does that work?
Oh, but we got weeks for that.
We do have weeks.
We're not playing till January. We're playing December 17th. Let's go.
We got plenty of time.
We went for the Duke Mayo Bowl to say, forget that, man. We are going to the Relia Quest Bowl.
Awesome. Hopefully I'll be seeing everybody down in Tampa. All right, Jay, I'll talk to you next week. We're out of here. I'm not. I'm here for the next hour. We will hear from Tay Piper. He's joining me next to talk about Illinois, Maryland. It is The Drive.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Is your plumbing system showing signs of cracks, sewer water infiltrating your basement wall? How about the things you can't see, like your underground drain and sewer pipes? A Lands sewer camera inspection and exclusive pipelining process can restore old pipes to like new quality with very little intrusion of your yard, and most projects can be completed in a day. Once installed, this will give you peace of mind that your underground drain and sewer pipes will be protected from root and water infiltration and increase the structural integrity with a one-piece liner. Visit landsinc.com to learn more. I'm Troy Lands. You can count on my company because you can count on me.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
To a power outage, I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The FBI has joined the investigation into an apparent targeted attack of 2 power substations in North Carolina, which has left at least 35,000 customers without power.
What happened here Saturday night was a criminal attack. And federal, state, and local law enforcement are actively working to bring those responsible to justice.
Governor Roy Cooper, North Carolina officials say it could be days before electricity is back on, with temperatures dropping below freezing today. Jurors have started deliberating in the Trump Organization's criminal tax fraud trial in New York. The jury's weighing charges that former President Trump's company helped executives dodge personal income taxes on perks such as Manhattan apartments and luxury cars. The deliberations follow a month-long trial featuring testimony from 7 witnesses, including longtime Trump Organization finance chief Alan Weisselberg and senior vice president and controller Jeffrey McConney. An outside accountant who spent years preparing tax returns for Trump and the company also testified. Incumbent Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel Walker spent a final day of campaigning ahead of tomorrow's finale to their U.S. Senate runoff race.
Warnock finished a rally with students here on the campus of Georgia Tech, where he was joined by fellow Georgia Senator John Ossoff, as well as Maxwell Frost, the first Gen Zer elected to Congress. Meantime, Walker has been busy himself, hitting more rural areas across the state where his campaign is hoping to energize reliable Republicans and get them out to the polls on Tuesday.
Fox's Charles Watson in Atlanta. A Monday sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 483, the S&P dropping 72, with the Nasdaq ending the day 220 points lower. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Smith & Wesson is committed to empowering Americans, no matter what. With inflation hitting everywhere, we've decided to make a change. Now, you can buy a Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, our most popular concealed carry firearm, at an all-new low price, $100 off MSRP. We're absorbing the costs and passing along the savings to you, so you don't have to compromise on personal security. Visit smithandwesson.com to find a Shield Plus near you. Smith & Wesson. Always expect the best.
Well, you now have more time to get your real ID.
The Department of Homeland Security pushing back its deadline for U.S. travelers to have a real ID from May of next year to May 7th of 2025. The update will require those 18 years and older to have a compliant driver's license or federally approved identity card in order to fly domestically. The deadline, which was originally set for 2020, was delayed twice before because of the COVID-19 pandemic. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas saying in part, this extension will give states needed time to ensure their residents can obtain a real ID compliant license or identification card. DHS will also use this time to implement innovations to make the process more efficient and accessible. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The police chief of Tampa, Florida, resigns after an investigation finds she used her position to avoid a traffic ticket.
Mary O'Connor, in a letter to the mayor, said her personal mistake shouldn't hurt public trust in law enforcement. O'Connor had been on the job less than a year. Her husband was driving the golf cart, which had no legal license tag on it, on November 12th. A police body camera recorded the traffic stop where O'Connor was caught telling a Pinellas County deputy,
I'm the police chief in Tampa.
"Oh, how you doing?"
I'm doing good.
"Okay."
I'm hoping that you'll just let us go tonight.
O'Connor had been on administrative leave. Mayor Jane Castor said the now former chief did not lead by example. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Bob McGrath, one of the first regular characters on Sesame Street, has died at the age of 90. Sesame Workshop tweeted last night it mourns the passing of Bob McGrath, a beloved member of the Sesame Street family for over 50 years. He was a founding cast member of Sesame Street when the show premiered in 1969, playing a friendly neighbor, Bob Johnson. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Sonora, Champaign, and Pan this Saturday, and it'll be a myriad of weather systems moving on through over the next 5 to 7 days. Pretty active weather pattern, but no major early winter-like weather systems coming our way. Matter of fact, pretty mild setup temperature-wise, and most, if not all, of the precip that does come on by will be largely rain. That'll be the story here into the first half of the week in particular. A couple of sprinkles this afternoon, up to 45. The skies turn cloudy, bit of a south wind, a few sprinkles early on tonight, down to 33. Mostly cloudy for the day tomorrow. A little bit of rain back in for the afternoon. Highs up to about 44 on an east-northeast wind. Bit of rain early tomorrow night. Low down to 37. Hey, good-looking Wednesday. Some sunshine and a mild day. The high around 50 degrees. More rain back in the forecast for Thursday. A little bit of rain and wet snow here for Friday. No big deal there. Highs to about 46 on Thursday. A Friday high of 43. And again, a couple of rain snow showers early in the day. Saturday and Sunday in spots. High temperatures over the weekend in the lower 40s. For Stephen J. Broadcasting, I'm Peter Olchus, Greg Solgay.
It's showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Pipes is writing down a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go from the gut. And joining us now, Coach Bielma, Josh Whitman joining us now.
You get to say all the cool name drops.
Do it.
Brad Underwood, our guest.
College hoops.
How do you lose to Jackson State?
Call up every single person in the media that didn't put Kofi first team All-American. And I don't know, just play like clown noises.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
Michael Porter Jr. has been good, but he thinks the earth is flat, so I can't pick him.
Oh, boy.
Throw it up to Kofi, and he's just going to tear the rim off.
How is he so good? All right, Hans, I'm going to mute you for a while.
Okay.
Oh, there's a timeout on the court!
So what we want to do is build a same-game parlay that will win all of us some money.
Maybe Rondale Moore could beat Cooper Kupp, but he's not. Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
Is that what IG means?
I think you have to win the Big Ten title to win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Woohoo!
Wow, what a bad take.
Oh, hey, that's the voice of Derek Piper, who unfortunately continues to be owned by one Aaron Rodgers, but we can touch on that later. Yeah. Well, no, we'll probably have to touch on that here in a second. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lon Tay. Derek Piper is in New York, but by the magic of... No. What am I trying to say? I got him on the phone. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the Dick Van Dyke Appliance Roll phone line. What's up, Pipes?
What's going on, man? Thanks for bringing up Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The pain is just inevitable. You know,
I mean, it's just like even I had tweeted out that I made a bet with, on Green Bay because of this. Even I was frustrated. Like, I'm watching that going, are you serious? Like, he's going to win again. And then you see him did you see him walk onto the field when he had grabbed his helmet and he looked like he was some model on a runway, like holding his head up high, like primping. I'm like, Aaron,
Yeah, it's gross.
It was gross.
The haircut's gross. Everything's about it is gross, man. And he didn't even play that well, and we still let him win. And that's the thing. Like, how many dump-offs he had, the jet sweep that Christian Watson took for 45 yards and a touchdown, and the play calling just got real suspect there by Luke Getsy. It almost seemed like he was trying to let that thing slip away. So I've seen that movie a million times,
right?
And just a few different tweaks and different names and whatnot, different faces, but except, the quarterback in Green Bay. There's only been two faces to know there, and they completely owned us. And I know everybody's talking about the draft pick. Yesterday, I didn't care. I went to a Bears bar downtown NYC. That was a fun experience, but a predictable result, and I had to sulk in that one. Unfortunately, I got to see Joey Wagner later, and he'll tell me all about it.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, you did, before we get to Illinois, Maryland, that's why we're having Derek on. And by the way, just to throw this out there, we're not going to talk a lot about tomorrow's game against Texas because Pipes is nice enough to join us again tomorrow to get you ready for Illinois, Texas. So I want to kind of look back at Maryland. But before we do that, you mentioned you went to a Bears bar in New York, but you also did a lot of things in New York. Where all did you get to? What all did you accomplish while you're in Manhattan and the surrounding area?
Yeah, we ventured over to Rockefeller Center, saw the tree that you see, the famous one from me. I'm picturing everything through the lens of like Home Alone 2, maybe mixing some Elf. That's a lot of my New York City knowledge and experiences. So you go to that tree, and it was awesome. Obviously, a big crowd over there to get those pictures and just check that out. You go to 30 Rock, where, of course, you got like the NBC studios where there's SNL and Jimmy Fallon show and all that kind of stuff. We made our way to Central Park, where you got the big ice rink, and just the fact of, as we were talking on the phone before we go on air, is just this huge stretch of actual nature in the middle of the biggest city in the United States. I mean, and then of course just walking around the skyscrapers, the crowd. There's a lot of people on the streets.
Yes.
And, you stop into a couple of the local establishments, get some real New York pizza. Today over in Jersey, we found a sandwich shop to kind of get the authentic East Coast experience. But the pastrami out here was, I don't know if I've ever eaten pastrami before, but it was fantastic. So, and then we also went over to Ground Zero too.
Oh,
and
wow.
that obviously is a different kind of experience and very chilling and sobering. So, rode the subway, around the real New York. So we're out here getting ready for a big basketball game tomorrow, but yeah, also obviously we're in College Park, and then we stopped and saw Amani Hansberry as well on Saturday over there in Baltimore. So it's been a eventful trip on the East Coast. And as far as I know, my wife's still holding it down, and I'll make it back in a few days.
I was going to say, you'll be back on here Wednesday, by the way. But again, you will be joining us tomorrow on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line, which we appreciate. Now, I'm glad to see that you guys are out and about and doing things. That's just one of those situations where maybe you don't get there very often, and the chance to do it all is really cool. I mean, I sound like your dad now. So I'm like, well, that's good, Derek. I'm glad. Now, I'll Venmo you another 100, and you can go drink another beer at a New York bar.
No, you can still do that. That's cool.
That'd get you maybe, 3 beers? Maybe. All right, let's talk. I want to ask you about Amani Hansberry as well. In fact, let's do that. That's good news. You went to see him play. Now, he didn't tear up the joint in terms of crazy stats, but what did you like from seeing him? Is it basically everything that I know you've seen him a few times. Is it pretty much everything still on par with what Amani Hansberry can accomplish?
Yeah, and as you were saying, he finished with 12 points, 10 rebounds, couple of blocks, couple steals. His field goal percentage wasn't very good. I think he was like 3 for 10 from the field, and wasn't one of his better games. I've seen him at his best, obviously, as we talked about, with what he showed at Peach Jam, and you're facing high-level competition in the Nike League. But this is just kind of a ho-hum performance. You see his skill, the fact that he, if you saw WCIA's highlights, Andy Olsen out here, he had a nice early in the game drive, spin move, left hand from the top of the key. And similar as far as you see the way that Coleman's being utilized right now as a big man that can stretch it out and facilitate and make plays up the dribble. Now he's going to have to improve his three-point jumper. That's still a big focus for him, and something's got to come around. But I love his activity, the way he hits the glass, the way he defends, and just the heart that he brings on the court. He's going to be, I know that he mentioned in talking to me, he loves the way Sincere Harris plays. He hopes to bring another one of those dogs, one of those high-energy, gritty type of guys, and I think that Illinois will definitely get that out of him. And him and his family still really, really excited with the decision they made to be making their way to Champaign next year. And they were at the game on Friday. I know they were disappointed in the result, but they assured me and wanted the Illini fans to know that losing at Maryland is going to change real soon once he gets in the Illinois uniform. So that should be fun to see it play out. But it was cool. I did a story yesterday just talking about how Chester really was able to win that recruitment, get in there with the family, and really be a difference maker versus what they were experiencing with some other some of the colleges that were trying to jump in late. Chester did a great job, and obviously he's going to be that's a big feather in his cap and should be a big player for Illinois in the future.
Two great reads at IlliniInquirer.com from Derek Piper. Of course, also the co-host here of The Drive with Tay and Piper, joining us on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. The Maryland game. Oh, man. You know, that thing just – can I just say this point blank? Andrew had a game that night. We started watching at halftime of that game, and when I sat down – in the Forsyth area at a little establishment and started watching the game, I don't know, I just had this feeling to myself, yeah, we're not going to win this. And I don't know why. I don't normally do that. I honestly don't. I'm usually the optimistic guy that says, oh, we'll figure out a way to do this. I don't know what it was that Maryland was doing that just continuously told me that, yeah, we're not going to win this. And I didn't even see the first half when they went on that big run of 17-2, and then Illinois clawed back. But why do you think, this is a weird thing because I would never ask anybody to try to get into my headspace, but why do you think I felt that watching that in the second half?
I would say that a couple of reasons. Number one, Maryland's just been a thorn in your side.
Right.
And even the fact of, like Daryl Morcell when he was playing for the Terps, and they had, Wiggins and Ayala and Dante Scott, part of those teams too. Those have just been teams that have been tough for Illinois, as for the reasons we talked about, going into that game, and even being able to come to Champaign and beat you. Not only being a venue out there at College Park that you haven't been able to win at, but they come to Illinois and won as well. So the fact of, I think you also factor in, I thought that it would be a big challenge to go on the road, the way that Maryland had been playing, the fact that they had built up a lot of excitement around the game, nearly had a sellout. The student section was crazy. And then to have your inexperience, I thought that it would show in that game, and it did. It did enough to make a difference, where Sky and Jaden didn't play all that well collectively. Jaden in foul trouble, Sky had some turnovers, and just the difference between Jameer Young, the veteran point guard, transferred in from Charlotte. He had the game of his season so far with 24 points, and there's just a big difference between that type of point guard who's a veteran versus what Illinois is working with. And that's not to just say that Epps and Clark deserve all the blame for that loss, which they don't.
Right.
Ty Rogers still trying to figure things out, and Illinois, I mean, you missing the first half, that was an ugly one for Illinois. Their defense was horrible. They got completely lit up. Their switching was problematic. They switched themselves into some bad matchups, and they were terrible in transition defense too. So the fact that they were able to clean some of it up in the second half, make the comeback, I think they once again showed that this is a pretty resilient, tough team. I do want to give them a little bit of credit for that, where
absolutely.
They're down 12 and Terrence Shannon's on the bench bleeding out of his eye, and it looked like they're going to get run off the floor. And the fact that they made it a game there late, I think it says something about that team. But then, of course, when it comes to executing down the stretch, I think Illinois is still trying to figure that out, still trying to figure out their late game identity, like how they want to, who they're going to go to. Okay, we're in this spot. We're going to run this and get this guy a shot. Of course, if Jaden Epps' three with 40-some seconds left goes in, it's an entirely different story probably. But Jameer Young's did at the top of the key, and Maryland gets a big win. And man, they look like they're going to be a factor in the Big Ten. I'm not going to say they're going to win the league, but they look like a legit team that has talent, and that was a high-level environment.
Never easy to win on the road. Indiana found that out. I think this is something we know going in. I have so many questions for you. I'm going to try to limit it to like two more. One of them is this. I did some loose math here. In almost 70 minutes of action, the four freshmen had 8 points. And that's 6 from Sky, 2 from Jaden, none from Ty Rogers, none from Sincere, of course, who played only 6 minutes. Ty only played 9. You know, Brad Underwood said today, and I'm going to play it in the next segment, that was a wow factor with these guys playing at Maryland. You and I talked all about this leading up to the season, and everybody understood that as well. We kind of, put it together with like Michigan last year with their young players and how they kind of got off to a slow start, if you will, for the season. It's hard for these guys, as much as they've played, it's hard to go into environments like you saw Friday night and really show out. And I think that's one thing those are just kind of things you have to kind of learn from, don't you, to get better and earn your stripes and then be able to lead teams to Big Ten championships. Yeah,
you just don't come in and be able to have yourself playing at a high level when you haven't experienced that. A lot of guys go through that. They're not alone in that. And then I think in general, you're not going to probably lean on and expect a lot of scoring from Sincere and Ty, just kind of the way that their makeup is right now. And Sincere is someone that is going to bring energy and defend. And he had a play where he had a deflection out of bounds and started hobbling around a little bit. Of course, he got banged up in the Syracuse game, so you wondered if that was a case of him re-aggravating something. Ty is just continued to not be able to really click into place yet and be all that consistently comfortable and just wondering and waiting when that happens. Now, there have been good players. You even think of transfers like Grandison and Plummer. It took some time coming in as newcomers, and it wasn't immediate and initial for them. So I think Ty's going to be fine, but even once I think he gets more settled in, I just wonder what kind of scoring punch he'll be able to bring. And then for Sky and Jaden, to go against Jameer Young, to go against 16,000 in the building and one of the bigger, more rowdy student sections that they'll see, it was a tough game. And I even pulled it up this weekend of, Io's first game on the road in the Big Ten. He went 3 for 12 and had 5 turnovers.
Oh, wow.
Trent's, when he played against Northwestern in his first one, he only played 10 minutes off the bench, but he didn't score. So we know how much success those guards had at Illinois. So they're not Jaden and Sky aren't alone in having those, taking a lump or two early on in their Big Ten careers, but it is a difference between, obviously, Io was relied on a lot as a freshman. You just don't have sometimes you come in and play big minutes like these guys are going to be expected to. So kind of the bottom line there is you hope that they learn quickly. They got to learn on the fly, and boy, they got a tough one coming up too, where they play maybe not the crowd of Texas at Madison Square Garden, but the guards in Tyrese Hunter and Marcus Carr are going to be a tall task up next too.
Yeah, and they look confident and they look ready to go, those two guards for sure. All right, this will be my last question. I asked last week Luke Goody how he thought he would fit in on this team. Derek, in this game, don't you think that you saw exactly what you could use out of Luke Goody?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you see things go sideways a little bit in that game and there's some adversity and you have just needing for a spark from three even. You go 5 for 20 from deep in that game, and could have used his shot making, could have used someone that would have just maybe steadied things out, where the big thing that Brad talked about going into that game, it's always going to happen. I mean, you mentioned Indiana losing on the road, and just kind of the nature of playing in the league on the road is you can pretty much chalk up one big run for the home team at some point. Now, you would hope that it's maybe, an 8-0 run versus a 17-2 run, which is what you experienced, and to be able to throw in Luke and know that he's going to maybe steady you a little bit and be in the right spots. And I think that even while we don't talk much about Luke defensively, and that's kind of the underlining there is he's not as good of an athlete as an R.J. Melendez or Terrence Shannon and whatnot, but Luke is going to be in the right spots. I thought Illinois did a bad job of sometimes when they were rotating, when they were deciding when to double team the post, because they get Sky on a big man, or they get Jaden. I think Illinois did a bad job of being in the right positions and rotating. And while maybe Luke's not going to be athletically as rangy as some of those other guys, I think he's going to be in the right spots. I know that he's going to play his butt off and be physical. And that was another thing with Maryland is, especially early, they were the more physical team, made more effort plays. And I think that Luke's a guy that you throw out there and you expect him to fare pretty well in those areas.
Great stuff. And I'll tell you this, as much as you need Terrence Shannon Jr. and Coleman Hawkins, do not get me wrong, you need those two. And for sure, the elephant in the room, Matt Meyer, who just 2 points basically in 14 minutes, 4 fouls. I mean, we can go on about that, but we can hold that. But I want to see more out of R.J. Melendez. I want the ball in his hand more. I want him to want to score more. I think that kid has as much natural talent on this team as anybody, and I would just love to see him do more. I mean, you look at his line, 5 for 7, 2 for 3 from the three-point line, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. He just 3 steals. I mean, he just had one heck of a game, and I know that he hasn't had great games this season. I just think R.J. Melendez is the guy that really I would love to see him have the ball in his hands more often.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you still want it to fully click for him, because even in the first half, I know Brad was upset that he he was having some defensive breakdowns, and still
good point.
Still doesn't feel like he's playing with the highest level of energy and toughness all the time. Now he's been able to respond. I know he got called out before the Syracuse game, and he came out there and had a good game. And this one, the second half was awesome for him in particular, and the way he was able to get steals. I mean, he's a long 6'7" type of guy. Get deflections, get steals, go out on the break, hit a couple corner threes, and then like you mentioned, the rebounding too, and that's something they've really been pushing him towards. And I think that if he can find maybe that next level of confidence or just that next level in his motor, that can really help this team, because Meyer is still leaving quite a bit to be desired. And in a game that was, I guess I'll come back to, it was a physical game. Meyer, whether he's 100% healthy or not, whatever it is, he fouled, twice in the first 4 minutes.
Right.
Didn't handle that type of physicality well. He was just a non-factor in the game. That just puts more on RJ's plate to step up. And and even on the note of Luke Goody, when he comes back, maybe there'll be some minutes if Meyer's still having some struggles. But I agree with you. I think that RJ, as you kind of try to fill out and say, okay, Shannon's our definite number one.
Sure.
Coleman's playing like an awesome number two as far as, your go-to options. And if you could slot in RJ at his best in that number three, that would be a really, really good trio. I think he's capable of a little bit more too.
Without a doubt. All right, Derek Piper, enjoy out east, buddy. Keep enjoying things. We'll touch base with you again tomorrow as we get ready to face number 2 Texas in what should be a heck of a battle for Illinois to try to get a victory out east. But we appreciate what you do. Great stuff on Illini Inquirer, and great stuff today, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Talk tomorrow. Look forward to it.
All right, buddy. Much appreciated. That is Derek Piper joining us from out east in New York, to be exact, and that is awesome to hear. And, in fact, I want to let you know that Derek Piper being on with us is brought to you by Game Day Spirit. Game Day Spirit, they just had the stadium sale. I saw some pictures from that, and it looked like a ton of Illini fans were out taking advantage of that. So Game Day Spirit, of course, they do a couple of stadium sales each year, and it's awesome what they do, but that just is a product of how awesome they are. 2 locations, Neal Street, also Green Street. You can visit GameDaySpirit.com. They got everything you need for Christmas gifts. They've got everything you need. Just go join them, and or go join their GameDaySpirit.com. Go into the store, and you're going to find exactly what you need for yourself or for someone on your Christmas list. All right, we're back to hear some more from Brett Bielema and Brad Underwood after this. It is The Drive.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
What we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champagne, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
It's a magical season at Merle Norman. Shop our limited edition Starry Rosé Shadow Palette while supplies last. featuring 12 matte to metallic shadows for creating day-to-night eye looks. Try 4 new luminous shades of plush lip gloss, a glowing natural rose champagne tone bubbly, sparkling plum, and red luster, all made with hyaluronic acid to keep lips healthy and hydrated all winter long. Magical holiday color collection available now at Merle Norman, 706 West Markview Drive in Champaign, over by Subway.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Hi, Ellen Hook here, owner of your local Ashley. Black Friday mattress savings are extended at Ashley. It's your last chance to save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets, or up to $800 on select Purple adjustable mattress sets. Plus, special financing for up to 60 months. These Black Friday mattress deals are only available through Monday, December 5th. So hurry in to your local Ashley store for better sleep and savings. Only from America's #1 furniture and mattress store, Ashley.
Since 1994, Mattek Service Company has been the preferred heating, cooling, plumbing, sewer, and electrical provider in East Central Illinois. Now is the best time to ensure your home's heating and air system is ready to keep you comfortable year-round. So, your area's top-rated service team is giving you 1 month of heating and air maintenance for free when you join our ProTune monthly maintenance program. With a team of thoroughly trained, licensed, and background check technicians ready to serve you, Mattex has the solutions you need to ensure your home is comfortable all year long. Mattex. Feel the difference.
Like most banks, we offer an app that lets you do pretty much everything you need from your pocket. But at Iroquois Federal, we believe great banking is less about the app you tap and more about what you tap into. And for us, that's a hometown bank where decisions are made locally by the same folks you'll bump into on the bleachers at the next big game, providing the hometown touch that's made us part of the community for nearly 140 years. Iroquois Federal. Still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome winter this December at Urbana Park District's Anita Purvis Nature Center. The Winter Solstice celebration is December 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. Everyone is welcome. People under age 15 must be accompanied by an adult. Join us around a fire for snacks, stories, and tree decorating. You will also get the chance to reflect on 2022 and look ahead to 2023. This is a free event, but please call the Nature Center to reserve your spot. 217-384-4062. Welcome winter December 17th at Anita Purvis Nature Center. Learn more at urbanaparks.org.
See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Amazing selection, price, and style on hardwoods, laminates, carpet, and tile. Low prices on high fashion. Step up the flooring that gets a wow reaction. See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Flooring Surface is your first stop.
Flooring Surfaces now offers beautiful window fashions. Our interior design team will custom fit shade, shutters, and blinds to any size opening. Visit the showroom to see the latest fashions from Graber and Hunter Douglas, or request an in-home consultation. Whether it's floors or windows, Flooring Surfaces has you covered. See us today at 401 Mercury Drive in Champaign.
See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Flooring Surface is your first stop.
Hey, could you tell me what aisle your car batteries are in?
Sure, I'll go grab one for you. Here's your battery. It might be expired, but oh well. Also, the brand isn't that great, but it should work for at least a year or two, maybe. Anyways, I went ahead and charged you for it, and here's the battery. Okay, have a great day.
What just happened?
Sometimes good things are hard to find, but they're worth the wait. Make the trip out to Interstate All Battery Center at 2504 North Mattis Avenue and get all of your battery needs taken care of by the trusted professionals. Give them a call today at 355-4855.
It is The Drive, ESPN Radio 93.5. The Drive with Tay and Piper. You just heard from Pipes on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. Well, he's out in New York gallivanting, going and doing literally the same stuff that Macaulay Culkin did in Home Alone. I wonder if he went to the church and talked to the old creepy man with the beard who turned out to be nice. And listen to the choir sing the Christmas jingles. I wonder if he did that, or if he just loaded down a front step with a bunch of ice, or put a nail through something. Hey, that kid, man, he knew what he was doing, protecting that house, didn't he? I still don't know how you don't realize one of your children are with you. But listen, it worked for a movie, and many people think that was me at that age. That's exactly what I look like. He's cuter probably than I was, but hey, that's kind of similar to what I look like. So if you ever wondered what a young Lonte looked like, it was Macaulay Culkin back in the day. Thankfully, I feel like I've gone a different route than he has in life. All right, it is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lonte, no pipes. You did hear from Jay Lehman last hour as well. The Jay Lehman Hour is always must listen to. He's going to be with us next week. We'll get a little more nitty-gritty on Mississippi State, and I am going to get a little bit more nitty-gritty on that trip, that bowl trip, and Illinois football in general. In fact, I want to play an opening statement from Brett Bielema. We'll do that a little bit later this hour. But while we were talking about Illinois basketball, and obviously hearing from Derek Piper on the loss to Maryland, and now you look ahead to the game against number 2 Texas tomorrow night. That won't be easy at all. But we touched on, Pipes and I, the freshmen, and the fact that they were thrown into a heck of an environment, and I don't care who you are. That was one heck of an environment. Brad Underwood met with the media today before they take back off and head out to New York for the Jimmy V Classic. He mentioned that, not only that, but also being pelted almost near the end of the game.
Maryland was a wow factor now. I've been in a lot of venues in my day. That one was hard to beat. I mean, I wasn't, getting chicken breast thrown at you and getting it was loud. I mean, I'm sitting there in the huddle pregame and just talking to the team as the introductions are going on. They couldn't hear me. That's one of the loudest venues that I've been in the Big Ten, and so I think they saw something was pretty good, and they learned from it. I think I think there was a shock factor, early on, but it was like, okay, now we got to settle in and play.
First time you've ever had a pretzel or chicken breast thrown at you?
It's the first time I've had a chicken breast thrown at me. It was half eaten, and somebody had a big mouth because, well, there was a lot of, but no, it was, it's unfortunate. That stuff can't happen and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I agree. That should not happen. A coach should not have to have stuff thrown at him. But obviously a raucous place, and Maryland gets it done beating Illinois at home, for them, 71-66. So the Illini 0-1 out of the gate. Of course, they'll host Penn State later this week in Big Ten play to hopefully get evened in the conference standings. There were 16,380 at the Xfinity Center at College Park. And, listen, I'm not going to there was some interesting charge calls. I'll put it that way in that one. But certainly Maryland came out and played an unbelievable game. And Illinois, of course, Terrence Shannon took the hit. I'm sure Shannon for a long time was thinking that was done on purpose by Julian Reese. But obviously Reese was kind of pushed a little bit by Dane Danger. They just happened to collide. And then Terrence Shannon now has a scar, probably, for the rest of his life that he can chat about, and a story that he can talk about the rest of his life. Coleman Hawkins, Shannon, by the way, 19 points, 7 boards in that one. Coleman Hawkins, 16 and 7 rebounds. RJ, as mentioned, 13 points, 7 rebounds. That's it in double figures for Illinois. Only 3 in double figures for Maryland. Jameer Young, who hit the big 3. He was 9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. He had 24 points. Hakeem Hart, 17 points for Hakeem Hart in that one. And then Dante Scott, who has really done some bad things to you. You've had some issues with him in the past. He did play 33 minutes and only had, 1 foul. Pretty amazing. But Dante Scott, 12 points, 3 rebounds only for Dante Scott. But Maryland gets it done. They get the victory. I was alarmed, really, besides three-point shooting and free throw difference, how similar a lot of these stats were. I mentioned each team had 3 in double figures. Maryland shot 44.4% from the field. Illinois was 44.3%. You guys know I hate decimals, but just to point that out, rebounding-wise, Illinois had 33, Maryland had 31. Assists, Maryland had 9, Illinois had 8. Turnovers, Illinois had 12. That's too many, but Maryland had 11. And you look at steals, Illinois with 5, Maryland 3. But then you look at the three-point percentage, Maryland hit 9 of 23 for 39%, which is pretty good. Illinois 5 of 20 for 25%, which isn't that good. And then at the free throw line, Illinois, you got to give them credit. They did knock down their free throws, 7 for 8 at 87%, 88, call it. We'll go upwards on that. But Maryland shot 18 free throws to Illinois' 8, so that was a big difference as well. Brad. Our coaches are too similar with their first names. Brad, again, met with the media today, and I just wanted to play his opening statement on what he had to say about this game in Maryland.
Yeah, another great opportunity, great opponent, number 2 team in the country. Coming off a night that, to be very honest, was disappointing. I thought we took a pretty healthy shot from Maryland in the first half of that game.
I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin this for everybody, but I want to know, because I couldn't see when I was doing it, I want to know who's doing the 3 dribble and the shot in the background. Now, I say I ruined this for everybody because now that's all you're going to listen to in this.
Yeah, another great opportunity, great opponent, number 2 team in the country. Coming off a night that, to be very honest, was disappointing. I thought we took a pretty healthy shot from Maryland in the first half of that game, and we rallied. We played well after that, but we didn't make plays to win a game, and made some foolish plays, stuff we've got to clean up. You can't foul a shooter, 3-point shooter, twice. You can't commit a foul 94 feet from the basket with the game tied. You've got to get on the floor for a loose ball in the first half that leads to a 3. Those are all plays that we have to make. If we make those, we win the game. And we weren't our best the first half. I think, maybe their environment, maybe their crowd stunned us a little bit. We played a little wide-eyed, I thought. I didn't think we were very aggressive. Second half, we played great. Held them to 3 field goals in a 16-minute span. One of those was an offensive goaltend. And when we lock in defensively, we can be really good. So, great opportunity. Chris does a great job at Texas. They've got tremendous talent. They got a lot of people back. They've beaten some quality people already. So, should be a great matchup. One I'm looking forward to.
There you go. Sorry, I know I ruined that for you because that's all you could hear through that 1:30 clip is just boom, 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 shot. I don't know who it was, but I'd love to know, and maybe we'll see against Texas tomorrow. Somebody will take 3 dribbles and a shot, and we'll be like, oh, that's who that was. That was Terrence Shannon Jr. No, I don't know exactly who that was. We will have more on Illinois and Texas. Derek Piper will join us from Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. I don't know quite that he'd be at Madison Square Garden because he's going to join us at 5 o'clock here, which would be 6 o'clock out there. And I'm not sure quite yet that he'll be at the Garden for that. That'd be in Boston. At the Garden for that game, but certainly a heck of a challenge for Illinois in the Jimmy V Classic going against number 2 ranked Texas, a team that is really good. They just beat number 7 Creighton. Obviously, that was a pretty good game. The Blue Jays played really well in that game, but Texas has all the talent you need, and they will give Illinois everything they can handle tomorrow. All right, Brett Bielema also had an opening statement today, and that was yesterday actually, after getting the news that Illinois was heading to the ReliaQuest Bowl, which used to be the Outback Bowl, which used to be the Hall of Fame Bowl, which Illinois played in with John Malkovich, I believe, in 91. Back in the day, they lost that game 30-0, 30-0 to Clemson, by the way. So we need a different outcome than that for sure, but it is really cool to be able to play on January 2nd. It's an 11 a.m. kick local time. It'll be noon in Florida, and certainly playing at Raymond James Stadium will be really cool for Illinois in Tampa. And I can't wait. I know Andrew and I are going to head down. This will be like my 6th or 7th game at Raymond James Stadium, which is really weird. Of course, the Super Bowl, I don't know that my teams have ever won at Raymond James Stadium, so I'm sorry to say that. So at some point, I've got to be due for a victory, right? So maybe this is it. Maybe Illinois beating Mississippi State and Mike Leach down at Raymond James in Tampa. Maybe that's finally going to do it, because I have witnessed a Super Bowl loss and I've witnessed a few Cardinals losses to the Buccaneers down in Raymond James. So hopefully that'll change and we can get an Illini win. But when we come back, you'll hear from Brett Bielema what he had to say, his opening statement about this team being awarded the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. Really cool thing. All right, we're back to hear from Coach. It is The Drive.
Find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. With so many styles and sizes from which to choose, the area's largest tree selection is waiting for you. Your expert will guide you to a tree that's just right, from the lights to the style to the just perfect size, at prices you'll love and the very best tree guarantee. 'Tis the season to find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, and totally Christmas.
Get back to the things you need and love to do with physical therapy at Mettler Center. Two of the biggest barriers to starting therapy are getting a referral from your doctor and insurance coverage. But good news, Illinois is a direct access state, so you can start therapy without a doctor's referral. In addition, at Mettler, we accept all major insurances: Health Alliance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, HealthLink, Medicare, and most recently, Aetna and Cigna. We invite you to schedule a complimentary 30-minute consultation today. Visit us at MettlerCenter.com.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champaign, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy. When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Feel the difference with exclusive fall savings from Matex. For nearly 3 decades, Matex has been the top-rated, most trained, and most trusted team in Central Illinois. Now for a limited time, take up to $1,200 off select new heating and cooling systems, all backed by the Matex 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't miss this limited time offer. Call or schedule your appointment online today. Matex. Feel the difference.
What do you mean, I get the whole store?
I'm Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we promise you the whole store, we mean all we do is appliances. We offer a showroom full of the top appliance brands, complete with our free 10-year protection plan.
Who does your warranty work? Some outfit with a 1-800 number?
No way! Our service and installation technicians are employed and factory trained by us. And our protection plan means you pay nothing for covered repairs.
So, I get a free 10-year protection plan, a guaranteed best deal, a hometown service department, and a showroom full of name brand appliances? Wow!
Hey lady, that's my line. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window, and we're proud to be your choice for the 2021 People's Choice Awards for the 3rd year in a row. We want to say thank you by offering buy one, get one 50% off on all windows. And you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com. And remember, at Kramer Siding and Window, you have a friend in the business.
At Lifeline Connect, a residential recovery center for men in Urbana, we believe there is no such thing as a lost cause. As you donate to Funding the Dream, you'll be giving to a safe place where men can experience recovery while pursuing God's purpose for their lives. Lifeline Connect is a Christian faith-based solution to life-controlling drug and alcohol addictions. Right now, we've received a generous donation to double your financial support up to $50,000. Help with the mission to rebuild lives as you visit lifelineconnect.org. Thank you.
All right, it is The Drive, ESPN Radio 93.5. I was just looking through some Mississippi State and their record, the old Bulldogs. I was checking. They finished 8-4, third in the SEC West division. LSU won that division at 6-2. Alabama at 6-2 as well. Mississippi State was 4-4 in the conference, 8-4 overall. Ole Miss in the old Egg Bowl, the Bulldogs got the better of Ole Miss in that one, and of course they tie with Ole Miss in terms of record, both 8-4 and 4-4. Looking at their schedule, Mississippi State has wins over Arizona. They're not very good. Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Auburn, plus the win over Ole Miss. They lost to Georgia, the number one team in the country, 45-19. That was not close. They lost to Alabama 30-6, and they lost to LSU 31-16. They also have a loss in there to Kentucky by 10. So that's what you're facing, Mike Leach and the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and it should be an interesting one, of course, down in Tampa, the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is awesome that Illinois is heading down January 2nd to that bowl. They're going to head down actually like December 26th, and the game, of course, will be January 2nd. Brett Bielema met with the media. He's got about 4 minutes here, an opening statement on his squad and what this year has meant.
I've always looked at bowl games as not only a kind of a finale, final moment with your team, your roster, your players, your coaches for this past season. It's more of a leap start, too, to the future, right? Can't tell you how many times I've been involved in a bowl game and you'll have a player emerge during bowl practice that really wasn't on your radar, or a player emerge in a bowl game that hadn't had a chance to do that. So it's going to be also a nice kickstart into the 2023. I think a year ago to be a game short, and this year to be where we are is a good step in the right direction. I get frustrated thinking about what could have been. I think in the out of season this last week I've been traveling a lot, had some things personally to take care of, my wife and I, so I was a lot of times away from my staff this last couple of days, and it made me reflect a lot about what we've done and what we've been able to accomplish. I'm very proud of that, but also realize what's out there. We're 4 games away from being in the conversation of the biggest conversations you can have, right? In the way the Big Ten played out this year, to get 2 teams in the playoffs is exactly what you dream of. So to be part of the ReliaQuest and Jim McVeigh and the city of Tampa. My wife's from Tampa. A lot of you know that. She's a USF Bull. I come home every once in a while, so I got one of those ragtag sweatshirts still on. So to be going to Tampa and around a lot of her family and friends will be very, very big this time of year for us personally. But for our team, you'll get to hear from Tariq and Palcho. I think this will be a great opportunity to play Mississippi State, a very talented team, a team with a very talented quarterback. Their defense probably doesn't get enough recognition, so I've taken a peek at them in the last couple of days. Just excited as heck for the opportunity to play an SEC opponent. I don't believe Illinois has ever beat an SEC opponent in bowl games. They're 0-3, so that whole mantra we've been using all year to kind of do something that's never been done before is an opportunity that lies out there. You guys should buckle up. Press conferences with Mike Leach will be at a whole new level. I'm sure we'll feed off each other quite a bit. I'm pretty sure we'll probably talk at some point tonight. He's a very good friend that I met a long time ago, back when he just took the job at Texas Tech. He and I met through some common friends. He was with obviously Bobby Stoops, and got to know him through that fashion. Have been with him on several different occasions throughout our careers, both professionally and also some personal time with him on some Nike trips and whatnot. So very, very excited to compete against Mike and his staff. I really haven't had a chance to visit with you guys. A lot of special recognition and awards, obviously, since the last time we got together, to have 19 guys earn all conference status, first string, second string, third string, and honorable mention, to have the most in program history over a 2-year window, to have the most ever in two back-to-back years. I don't even realize some of these awards. I was talking about Chase and Sid. I said, has anybody ever won the Thorpe or the Doak? And they go, Coach, no one's ever been a finalist. So to have two guys be finalists for national awards that who knows when that vote's going to play out, but I've done everything I can. I've emailed, called, texted both those awards to just speak volumes about both those players independently. Just such a unique story, for Spoon to be a guy that didn't even have a ranking coming out of high school. I remember walking into junior college this year, and Spoon was actually there for like 3 or 4 days before his final clearance got him eligible to play. His journey when we got here, I believe he had started 7 games to now. If there's a better DB in college football, I'd love to know who it is, because he is phenomenal. And then Chase, obviously, some very talented backs in the Big Ten. For a guy to rush for over 1,600 yards and be second team All Big Ten doesn't seem possible, but it is what it is. I think it's another great indicator of how special he is to be one of 3 finalists for the Doak. And it speaks volumes for them. Obviously, the Joe Moore Award for offensive line. Just so many great things to be positive and excited about. To move to Tampa now for about a week. I think tentatively right now we'll leave on the 26th and play the game on the 2nd, return home. But hopefully over the next couple of weeks I'll have a lot of Illinois fans. Maybe when I'm in the community here, my wife just say, "See you in Tampa," right? That's going to be the catchphrase, "See you in Tampa," right? Like, you don't have to come up and tell me what you're doing or how you're doing, Coach. See you in Tampa. That'll tell me what you're doing. Love to get a lot of fans there. A great bowl, a great place in this time of year compared to maybe a little bit. I've always loved Champaign, but Tampa in January was really nice.
Heck yeah, Coach. I don't know why I'm playing that same song. That stupid line. All right, how about something different? Great stuff there from Coach B. See you in Tampa. Hashtag see you in Tampa. Well, Coach, I don't know that I'll see you in Tampa, but I will be there. Andrew and I both said, you know what? We've put enough effort into the tailgates, the 6:30 in the morning arriving for tailgates and season tickets. It's like, let's go. Let's head down and go to my favorite place in the world, St. Pete Beach, spend a couple days on the beach, and then hit the game in Tampa. Should be fun. I hope a lot of you guys are going. I know a lot of friends have reached out to me, and they're planning on heading down as well. So I think Illinois is going to have a pretty good contingent in Tampa. I have no idea how Mississippi State travels. I mean, again, it's an SEC school. They love their football, so we'll see how Mississippi State travels, but can't wait, man. Can't wait to get down there and watch Illinois in this bowl game. By the way, I had mentioned earlier to Jay Lehman about Deion Sanders taking the Colorado job. I know that we still have some worries about Ryan Walters, but, Ryan Walters, an alum of Colorado. And I know I had read a lot of things saying, for a Power 5 conference to just take over your first time as a head coach might be a little tricky in a place like Colorado. So certainly Rick George, who's the AD there, used to be from Illinois, obviously. He goes with Deion Sanders. So I guess in a way, the good news for Illinois fans with regards to that job being filled and Ryan Walters hopefully staying put for another year here at Illinois. I'm sure Josh Whitman will make that happen in terms of giving him a little bit more of a bonus. So, great stuff. Illinois heading to Tampa. Let's go. Let's get down there and have some fun. Let's win a game, more importantly, and finally beat the SEC. That would be awesome. All right, Kyle Tosk, the intern, is going to join me tomorrow. Pipes will be in New York. We'll talk to him and get more on him in Texas. You heard more from Brad Underwood and Brett Bielema both. You guys have a great night. It is Monday, isn't it? Oh, it's Monday. All right. We'll see you then. It's a drive.
Feel the magic of the season with the most Christmassy store of all at Prairie Gardens. Sparkling Christmas lights, ornaments and decor, handmade wreaths, and so much more with extra savings this week. Save 50% off all weatherproof berries, Christmas placemats, tons of styles, now only $197. Outdoor Christmas flags, only $8.97 each, plus more, with hundreds of savings throughout the store. Prairie Gardens, your Christmas destination for over 50 years.
Magical gifts have arrived at Merle Norman. Head to your holiday shopping headquarters for prestige skincare and makeup favorites, pre-boxed and ready to give. Shop magical gift sets for lips, cheeks, and skin while supplies last. Choose from 3 lip sets featuring plush lipstick and lip liner duos, a 4-piece set for cheeks, and a curation of self-care favorites for ageless skin. Magical gifts are available for a limited time only at Merle Norman, 706 West Market View Drive, over by Subway.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Your heating and cooling system works hard for you all year long to keep you and your family comfortable. That's why it's important to have it maintained and serviced regularly. Our techs are ready to help you with all your indoor air quality, humidity, and filtration needs. Visit landsinc.com today for specials on a brand new train system for your home and to see for yourself why it's hard to stop a train. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket florist, the florist you pick.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car.